Ricky Thornton Jr. led all 50 laps at All-Tech Speedway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, but it was a very exciting race. It might sound like it was ho-hum. Ricky Thornton Jr. dominated, but he was challenged multiple times. There was a lot of action, especially right behind him for second and third. We were getting three-way battles. We saw Chris Madden spin out. We saw Garrett Alberson go up into the wall. It was a very exciting race with lots of comers and goers, except for Ricky Thornton Jr., who obviously led every single lap and took home the checkered flag. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. So obviously, 50-lap race. I felt like Ricky Thornton Jr. wasn't really challenged for the first 15 laps, but then Joseph Joyner, who had a really strong run in the heat race. I think he was ahead by like 3 seconds, absolutely dominated his heat race. He got up there past both Devin Moran and Hudson O'Neal, and then went to challenge Ricky Thornton Jr. for the lead. You can see him there. He's on the right side of your screen in that black number 10 car. Ricky Thornton Jr. in the blue 20 RT right there on the left. Let's take a little bit of a look here at how Joyner tried to challenge Ricky Thornton for the lead with 35 laps to go. You can see he was really hugging the bottom there, running that low line, trying to push Ricky Thornton up a little bit. But at this point in the time, the track was really interesting. I don't know if the announcers didn't notice it or what was going on, but I really thought the track was, if you could run up high in 1 and 2, you could get huge runs down the backstretch. And then you wanted to be on the bottom in 3 and 4. You can just see kind of right there where Joyner was indeed gaining ground on Ricky Thornton there in 3 and 4. But when Ricky Thornton goes into 1 and 2, he would be able to kind of come back and pull away. And then he found his lane kind of in the middle of the track where he was able to really just kind of put Joyner away. And then Joyner would fade a little bit with Moran and O'Neal passing him. So Ricky wouldn't really be challenged until lap 24 when Devin Moran was the one who would turn up the wick. You can see him right here in the white and blue number 99. Ricky Thornton is right there above him in the 20 RT. And then you've got Boom Brakes in the 99. He's a lap down. And then Hudson O'Neal right there in third. So let's take a look at how Devin Moran challenged Ricky Thornton Jr. With about halfway through the race. So Moran was given a run for his money on the bottom. Lap traffic coming up that allowed Moran and O'Neal to catch Ricky Thornton Jr., obviously running side by side right there, Tanner English and Earl Pearson Jr. And Moran's actually ahead of him right here. Doesn't beat him to the line, though. Ricky gets the run off the top. And then Ricky would kind of make this really, really fantastic move a lap later, which would separate himself from Moran. He would split Tanner English and Earl Pearson Jr. right here. Let's take a look. Just whoop, right through the middle. And Moran obviously faded pretty significantly there, unable to keep pace and follow Ricky Thornton through the little hole there. We would get some action again, like I said, racing for second. Chris Madden was running some of the fastest laps of the race at the time, and he was really trying to get that second place spot from Devin Moran. Drove it in extremely hard, ended up spinning himself out. Let's take a look at this here. Just bang, right into Moran. Tries to keep it going, unable to do so. He's still trying to spin those tires. He knows he's going to bring out the caution, but he's trying to keep those tires going so he can maintain his spot. He would eventually come to a rest, though, as you can see. So he would go back to the tail end of the field. He would struggle to recover. I think he ended up finishing outside the top 10, unsure exactly where. He was running around 14th when they had the final caution with 3 laps to go. And then here was Garrett Alberson. He actually became one of the main challengers very late in the race. We're looking at 13 laps to go right here. He would drive past both Devin Moran and Hudson O'Neal on the top side. And then work his way to try and challenge Ricky Thornton Jr. So let's take a look here. Really good move here, getting around both Moran and Hudson. Just running that lip, running that top. Just kind of blows past Moran. Moran tries to get around Hudson up there too. They're going 3 wide, so some great racing. And then he gets the huge run off 1 and 2 down the stretch, and then he would start to hunt for Ricky Thornton Jr. He wouldn't get the chance to hunt for him because caution would come out. And then on the ensuing restart, Ricky Thornton Jr. would get a huge jump on him. Alberson would fall victim to Devin Moran. And I think this is something I've seen with Garrett Alberson. I feel like he gets a little bit too aggressive sometimes because he feels like he can taste it. He can taste the victory. And then he gets a little bit over aggressive and he makes usually a catastrophic mistake. And that is indeed what happened here. You can see him. He's kind of here on the right side of your screen in the blue and white number 58, and he will get into the wall coming out into turn 2. So just bang, just gets sucked into the wall. And I really do think he was just trying to chase it a little bit too hard there, maybe overdriving a little bit. And I've seen him do that a couple times as well. And that's maybe that's nerves, maybe that's anxious. I'm not really sure what's going on in the car there, but I have seen that a couple of times where he does get into like these positions where he is potentially on the verge of winning or at least challenging for a lead, getting on the podium, and then you see a mistake like this happen. And so Albertson's chances for victory were erased. He would be done for the night with 9 laps to go. And then this was the craziest thing. After Ricky Thornton Jr. won the race on the cooldown lap, he wrecked. He wrecked on the cooldown lap. So let's take a look at this here. He's going into turn 3 and 4, and he wrecks on the cooldown lap. So just loses it. Almost completely destroys the car. Moran spinning out too to avoid hitting him. Just absolutely wild, crazy wreck there. That's after the race. So he won. He would go and pass Tech, and he would win the race. As far as what your top 10 are, they didn't really give us the rundown like they usually do on Flow. So you can see here what the top 10 were following the race as Ricky Thornton Jr. is wrecking. Ricky Thornton Jr. was in first, Devin Moran second, Hudson O'Neal third. Tyler Bruning was, I think, your hard charger. I think he came from 17th, finished in 4th. Jimmy Owens was 5th. Joseph Joyner faded to 6th. Kyle Bronson was 7th. Dalton Wilson was 8th. Brandon Shepard in 9th. And Spencer Hughes finished in 10th. So that was your top 10 for the race. I think Jonathan Davenport might have finished in 14th. He really had a very tough night. Struggled the entire night. Had a poor qualifying. I think he was like 18th in Group A qualifying. Did not obviously qualify for the heat race to move on in the heat race, so he had to settle for a B main, and then he didn't even qualify for the B main, so he had to take a provisional. So not a good night for Jonathan Davenport, but he was able to, I guess, salvage some of it, finishing 14th. There was a lot of attrition that helped him get there because he was running in like 20th for most of the race, and I think at one point he was a lap down. I'm not sure if he got that lap back or not, though. But let's listen to what Ricky Thornton Jr. had to say about that wreck at the end of the race here. Let's take a listen.
It looked like it was rubber down there, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go try it after the checkered, and I'm telling you, I was all I could do not to destroy the fence.
Well, you didn't. You go back-to-back box.
So that is what Ricky Thornton Jr. had to say on his wreck after the race. But this was an exciting race. Lots of action, lots of drama. Comers and goers, like I said. You had really good racing between Hudson O'Neal and Devin Moran for most of the race for their second and third, and then you would get Alberson in there, you'd get Joseph Joyner in there, you get Chris Madden in there. Tyler Bruning was mixing it up there at the end. I mean, we had great racing all throughout the night. I'm kind of glad that they took so long to kind of fix the track, so we got this great racing. But at the same time, I'm like, man, they took a long time to get the track ready, to get it going. But fortunately, they did, and we got a great race as a result of it. And what can I say, man? Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is giving us some great racing. I feel like we've only maybe had one mediocre race so far this year. All of them have been really good, and we've had one great one out there at Ocala, the first race there that they had earlier this week. But let me know what you guys thought about this race here. What do you think about Ricky Thornton Jr. wrecking on the last lap? Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below.